I really like where this ball club is right now and how tightly knit they are. We had a couple people show up at practice this weekend, just watching practice um, from recruits. We had some bunch of scouts there. We had one of Coach Foster's really close friends, his college roommate who played college baseball. And one of the things that kept coming up with everybody that was watching us practice was how closely knit this team was. People from the outside that hadn't been around this club were talking about, one, how hard the kids were working, how focused they were, but how much you could see they genuinely enjoyed, one, being at practice and two, being with each other, which was really, really cool to hear because we think that from the inside, and I've sort of been watching it build all year, but to have people that have not been around the program all year come in and see sort of small snapshots of this club and have that jump out at them, I think is pretty special.
Can you just talk a little bit about your first weekend? You're playing 3 different opponents, 4 games, your doubleheader on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a good weekend. It's these are 3 really good clubs. Xavier was in the tournament last year. Wofford and USC Upstate are very good clubs. So it's funny that people want to jump out and ask us early on about LSU and Florida State and Louisville and some of those teams coming up weekend, 2, 4, and 5. But this first weekend is going to be really good baseball, and it's going to be against some really good clubs. And I'm excited to get down there and see it's going to give us a chance to add a 4th starter and see what some of these arms can do. And we've got some really good battles on the mound and for some of our positions on the field. So, 4 games against 4 good clubs is a really good test early on.
And just talk about some of your starters. You have John Gorman and Jeff Burke, who have started last year, but you're also starting Jesse Adams and Nick Poor, who Nick Poor started a little bit during the midweek, but it's a new role for them to start on the weekend.
Yeah, Jesse is he's developing into the type of pitcher that we believed he could be when we recruited him. We always thought he had a chance to be a very, very good ACC starter. And he threw the ball great for us as a freshman and was great in spots last year. He was just a little bit inconsistent, and he's matured very much and learned how to work and become a lot more consistent in his work, which is going to allow, I believe, him to be a lot more consistent on the mound because his stuff is good enough. And he sort of learned last year and through the fall what a lot of these guys learned as they sort of grew up and had a ton of outings and a ton of at-bats. A lot of them are starting to realize that they're good enough. And I think Jesse is starting to finally realize how good his stuff is. Nick Poor is pretty cool to see, a kid who has pitched out of the bullpen and had some spot starts throughout his career, but he keeps continuing to get better and has been throwing the ball great this offseason and this preseason, I should say. I'm really excited to see him stretch out. Coach Foster thinks he can do a lot of things on the mound that can give really good hitters some trouble. So it's exciting to see those guys. And Berkey, we know what Berkey's going to give us. He's going to pound the bottom of the strike zone with a good sinking fastball. His slider is getting a lot more consistent. It's always been good. It just hasn't been consistently good, and it's a lot more consistent now. And Johnny Gorman is as tough of a competitor as I've ever been around. So we love playing behind him. I love giving him the ball.
Great. And lastly, can you just talk about your team as a whole? You have a lot of players that have played since their freshman year, and now instead of a young team, you have a very veteran team. Most of your lineup are juniors and seniors instead of freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, it's a new thing for me here, which was always sort of the plan. Looking back a couple years and knowing it was going to take a little time to get this back to where we all wanted it, the plan was let's throw them out there and let them go, and we did that for a couple years. And like you said, we were really young for a couple years, which is fun from a coaching standpoint. It's not always fun from getting the results you want as early as you'd like. The benefits of that are now exactly what you said. We've got a veteran club, boys that have been through it, boys that have played in big stadiums, played in big situations, played on TV, done all those things that you have to get used to, and also are completely comfortable with the speed of the game at this level and have had success at this level, but they've also learned how to fail at this level, which is a huge thing to be able to handle a 56-game season, to learn how to struggle a little bit. No, you'll come out of it. Just trust your work and trust your process, on the mound, at the plate, wherever it is. So to see this team and just to watch the confidence that they have right now, and not fake, not cockiness, just a nice, quiet confidence that they're all really starting to believe that this is a good ball club, and people from the outside are starting to sort of realize that as well. I talked to a reporter the other day that said he thinks this is a team that's going to make a lot of noise and really, really surprise people. So it's exciting to see that. But what I care most about is what those 34 guys in that clubhouse believe. And I think they believe and they realize this is a good club.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.